Hello, fellow heroes. I'm Action Smacchan, the 2-in-1 hero meetup of a virus from the 70s and a guy who likes to play things. And I'm here with my good old pal,
Blue Infinity 22.
But yeah, welcome back, everyone, to our gaming podcast. But yeah, before we get started with the topic that you guys have probably clicked on this podcast to listen to, we do have to talk about what we've been playing lately. So, Blue, what have you been playing lately?
I've been doing that archipelago thing where it's different games with all of the items in their games mixed into a pool and redistributed between them. So I've had a friend playing Dark Souls 3 and I was doing Ocarina of Time, and my hook shot was behind one of his bosses and he died a lot while I waited for the item.
That sounds very complicated and very
We
hip.
should do it sometime.
We should. Oh my gosh. Is there a whole lot of like setup to it?
No, well, I guess it depends on the game. There's like 200 different, like Sonic Adventure 2 battles compatible, Link to the Past, Mega Man Battle Network 3. Some of the games, it's as simple as if you already own it on Steam, like Sonic Adventure 2, then it's just right away. You just like add the mod to it in the Steam folder. With Battle Network 3, you can actually just take the Legacy Collection from Steam. And actually, we found out through this that when you get the Legacy Collection for Battle Network on Steam, it actually includes ROMs for every one of the games. So you just go into the folder and just right-click copy and paste the ROM into the folder.
So it works for just the entire thing?
Yeah, you could take the ROM out of the Legacy Collection and play it on an emulator for like BizHawk. It's just there.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it makes setup very easy depending on the game. Yeah, so
I mean, it gives you a legal copy of a game backup.
Yeah. That's crazy, right? So yeah, that was really fun to find out. Yeah, we should totally do it sometime, and I can show you the list of games.
Ooh, yeah, that does sound pretty fun. Oh yeah, especially since this summer is coming, I'm gonna have plenty of time. But yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Archipelago. It's very modern. It's kind of like those randomizers that those kids like to play these days.
Mm-hmm. And how about yourself? What have you been playing?
Oh, speaking of newfangled, recently a game called Rabbit and Steel came out.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's actually like a co-op multiplayer shoot 'em up.
Oh wow, that art style is really nice.
Yeah, isn't it? It's from the same developers that made another shoot 'em up, except that one was like more of a versus game. That one was Maiden and Spell. Yes, that's it. But this one's Rabbit and Steel. It's online, multiplayer, party-based. Really interesting, really hard. I was playing it with my brother. We were getting clapped really hard.
Yeah, games like that typically are like that. Like it also kind of reminds me a little of Rabby Ribby.
Yeah, kind of in the same vein. It has bunnies, cute girls. Yeah. Cute girls as bunnies. Yeah, definitely leans into being a bullet hell. Probably gets more intense, but we never got past like stage 2.
Now that is a game.
It's really hard.
I'm looking at the bottom and it says a game's just like this. Death must die.
But
as an actual fun. Bunny, this game is top notch. I'm looking at the reviews. Yeah, I should look into this. This looks really fun.
Yeah, totally look into it. I think it's still marked down a little bit since it just came out. I got it on Steam, by the way. So if you want to grab it on Steam, we could totally play. We could be in a party together. It'll be a great time.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, aside from that, been inching my way through Touch Detective and very slowly trying to get out of my blue reflection based depression.
The fact we have not yet said Blue Reflection Blues is kind of a like missed opportunity. I can't believe
The Blue Reflection Blues is what I got. I actually will be remedying that soon because I do have the DLC that I have recently purchased. I have yet to play because I've been kind of saving it for when the summer actually starts.
Yeah, because I can imagine that's a game you'll want to be like sitting down. Anyway, okay, 1 more hour.
One more, another one, please. Don't stop me. I need to see my cute girls.
Yeah. I'm seeing red for this blue.
That does remind me, I did finish watching the anime finally recently while I was getting my car fixed up, and I actually need to send my car back to the shop because it's not totally fixed up.
Oh no.
But
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it's very warm inside of my car.
Just in time for summer.
Just in time. But yeah, aside from all of that, you know, just chilling. But yeah, since we have that established, how about we go on to today's actual topic? Due to a recent tweet from Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa, we now know that their next generation console is officially on its way. The promise of a new hardware is exciting in itself, but it's easy to put off buying a new console if there isn't an equally exciting lineup of games on launch. What is the ideal Switch 2 launch lineup that would make you need to buy the console immediately? What do you think, Blue?
My first kind of immediate answer it's more like a personal one. So like for each of the last Nintendo, actually every home Nintendo console that I've ever like had to buy, it was always related to the multiplayer games that were there at launch. So like for 64, it was for like Smash Bros. And Mario Party and Donkey Kong 64. GameCube, it was Smash Bros. Melee, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, and Power Tennis. And then for the Wii, it was the WarioWare title, which you were there for.
Always a great time. Always a great time.
Yeah, I got it with that and the Sonic and the Secret Rings. Those were the 2 games that I really wanted. And then for the Wii U, the games that we always immediately played was the Nintendo Land and the Game & Wario. And so like I would like those kinds of things with the Switch 2. If it has something like unique with it, like a unique gameplay add-on or peripheral or something like that, something to really show it off, because like Nintendo Land and Game & Wario were like the perfect Wii U games for showing off what the gamepad could do, the features of the console. It was the first HD console as well, so it was really pretty. And they were just so much fun with like a group, because always my friends would come by, we would play it, family members would play it. We'd take it to family gatherings and we would play some of those mini games on there. And they were a lot of fun, and they were great to watch too. Like they were very fun to watch. So like I'd love for something like that with the Switch 2 to just like be, whether it be a pack-in title, like even like Wii Sports was huge for that kind of thing.
Huge.
To show off the
Wii Sports was huge. It reached a lot of people. I remember being at a secondhand store just like a few months back, and somebody was still looking for a copy of Wii Sports.
Yeah, it was like, and it was the first time we ever saw, when I was a kid at least, our friends' parents playing video games, and we would just have like bowling or baseball or golf, and we'd have like everyone in the same living room like taking turns and playing, and it was so much fun. And I'd love to see, like, you know, it's a little weird starting out answer, but that like I like that is like would be so cool to have for like Switch 2. It's just that big feature show off, multiplayer show off, because it really was a cool way of showing off a console to friends and family while still being really addicting and fun.
Oh yeah, no, I feel like tech demo kind of like console tech demo games are kind of underappreciated, because they do try still to make them fun.
Yeah, like Nintendo Land was like probably one of the higher play times on our Wii U. just because like we were constantly going back. They were so much fun, and eventually like one of the games on it they made was actually like a sequel to one of the most popular, like the Zelda one for Nintendo Land was kind of like a sequel to the Wii Sports Resort. I forgot the sport it was, but it was like a sword thing. And
that was so cool.
yeah, it was so much fun, and it was the first F-Zero game in like forever. Like people don't really count it as one, obviously for obvious reasons, but it was fun. And the Luigi's Mansion game on it, like they were a lot of fun, and I would love to see something like that on the Switch too, because the Switch I think is probably the first exception. I don't think it released with anything like that.
Did 1-2 Switch have come out on launch? Or did it come later?
I think it came later. I could be wrong on that though.
Because that's like the only thing that I could think of that was like the Switch tech demo. Because it would use like things like the HD rumble, and I think it actually had like games with the IR camera that I don't think anything else uses.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd love for something like that. But of course, it's kind of like if it's just Switch but stronger, I can't see a lot more, or like something like that could really be pulled. Like it really took advantage of all the Wii U stuff that was really cool, and the Wii remote for the Wii. The GameCube was its higher power and like instrumentals that it could do, where it could finally do orchestras. So like there was a lot to really enjoy, and I would love to see something like that on the Switch too.
Oh yeah. Like I guess that would start becoming more interesting when we find out what the Switch 2 is actually like.
Yeah.
What its design is. What makes it stand out, because I am hoping that it is more than just stronger graphical capabilities and processing capabilities. While I do want those, you know, it's a Nintendo console, still want some bells and whistles on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
a little bit of innovation, maybe to say.
Because they kind of already pulled the strength card that they actually could, because like if you it's actually a funny little thing where if you go to like when the Wii U first came out and all the Let's Players jumped on it with New Super Mario Bros. U, almost all of them for their first episode will comment how gorgeous it is, because it was Nintendo's first ever HD console. So they were like 8 years after everyone else already did it. And so like it's such a clear difference. The like the widescreen 1080p, like people like literally will sit there and go, wow, we're really playing an actual native HD Nintendo console. And so I could see I could see them still being able to pull off an effect like that, which is actually on one of the games later on that I have written down. But yeah, like that would be really cool to see like them go back, because Switch is kind of more like a standard console compared to like the last like 3, especially if you include handhelds even more that Nintendo has done.
Yeah, I mean, like the biggest thing for the Switch is that it is both a handheld and a home console. But no, I'm pretty sure, especially if we see like a first party Nintendo game on its latest hardware, it's going to be the most gorgeous thing we've ever seen, because at least Nintendo knows how to optimize for Nintendo hardware.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the very least, you know, the main title, Mario and Zelda games tend to look fantastic, and I always think, and we've talked in length about how beautiful Kirby looks consistently.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, I think having like a really good tech demo and also having like some solid multiplayer games is a pretty good direction to go.
I think Switch launched with Bomberman.
That is at least. Oh yeah, I didn't buy that on launch. I bought that when it was like $20 or so.
A small complaint. It is I don't know what possessed them, but they decided to make, when you're searching for online players, a time limit of like 30 seconds. And I'm like, why? what world will you get online and be like, oh yeah, I'm sure this room will fill in 30 seconds. Why?
Well, that will never work. It'll take 30 seconds decision. For it to even start searching.
Yeah, I don't think Bomberman like Live for the Xbox Live even did something like that. Yeah. But I guess that would be a really cool one if they had like a really cool like online like people literally paid for Xbox Live just for Bomberman Live. Like that was such a huge game when the Xbox 360 launched with Xbox Live.
That is surprising, actually.
Yeah, it was such a strong game for Xbox Live, and I kind of missed that era. Like that was such a cool era. So yeah, I would love to see that kind of thing. But yeah, that would fit in that multiplayer party game because that would be so fun.
Yeah, totally. Let's see here. As for me, my first note is absolutely a Mega Man game. I would go absolutely nuts if Mega Man, for one, get in the game. That's not like, a collection of the previous stuff, although I would not mind if they decide to slap me with a Mega Man Legends collection. Just straight up smack me with it. Smack the Smacchan with some Mega Man Legends collection. Put maybe some Star Force in it. I would not mind that. But like
I'm like a huge Star Force fan.
Yeah, I've not been able to play the Star Force, and it's definitely too late unless I do fishy things with my Steam Deck. But just generally, if they hit me with a new main title Mega Man game, I'd go absolutely nuts.
Like 12 or X9 or Legends 4 or 3.
All right, well, I'm going in order. I would love to have Mega Man 12 because, well, Mega Man Classic is just what Mega Man is to me. But I have been waiting for 15, 20 years for Mega Man Legends 3.
Yeah.
The
fans have finished it apparently.
If they decided to actually give the Switch 2 the second screen, that would mean that it is even more possible to have the actual Mega Man Legends 3 based off of the old demo that was originally for the 3DS, correct?
Yes, it was for the 3DS.
Even more plausible to have Mega Man Legends 3 up and going and happening and in my hands. So I would absolutely go batshit crazy if they actually decide to hit us with the Mega Man Legends 3 announcement. It doesn't even have to be in the collection at that point. If they just gave us the game, I would go nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely my first pick. A Mega Man, and if we go even further, Mega Man Legends 3, absolutely. But yeah, what else do you got, Blue?
So I wouldn't mind if so especially if they do go with like a second screen, like it could be whether it be like just in a peripheral that gives you access to it, or it be part of the like console itself, like a more focus. I guess even without that, but it would be better with it. One of them, a new Maker game. So like Super Mario Maker, I don't know if we necessarily need a third one, but there it was a clear downgrade for like making stages from 1 to 2 without the second screen and touch. But I wouldn't mind if they either expanded on it, like turn it into a Maker series. So like everyone talks about Zelda Maker with the Link's Awakening thing, which was like a massive disappointment for like the dungeon creation thing. But like just kind of a starting point, like a Zelda Maker would be very fun. Even a Metroid Maker would be really cool. Being able to make rooms that connect to each other and make your own Metroidvanias would be very fun. Or even like a Kirby Maker could be cool too. But I think that one I think would be very obnoxious in fans' hands because I could see a lot of having to fly to the top left of a stage to find a hidden item, and it's like really, really high up. Like maybe if they did it like Kirby 64, where flight had a time limit, maybe that would be better. But yeah, just like Maker would be fine. Even if it is just Mario Maker 3, like that would be pretty cool to have it continue, because there's like still such a huge community with Mario Maker. Like it's still active like today. So yeah, I think a Maker game would be fun regardless of what it is.
Oh yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh, like just the idea of a Kirby Maker would make me go nuts. But then again, Kirby's kind of dangerous because you know, we kind of touched on it in previous episodes, but Kirby games are very intricately designed.
Yeah, for sure.
They put a whole lot of thought into these levels, and that's not necessarily what we're getting when we have
even the
Maker
placement of
games.
enemies and capabilities and where are like completely thought about.
Mm-hmm. Not saying that there aren't really good level designers working on their own stuff in Maker games, like Mario Maker stuff, but
I guess also a caveat would be having a good single player. Like I think Mario Maker 2 was a good middle ground for single player and multiplayer. The first Mario Maker definitely not.
But maybe they could. But if they have like a Kirby Maker, they could somehow fit like 4 players.
Yeah, and I'm sure with Kirby Maker they could involve like Dracia or something like that to really make it stand out.
Yeah. But of course, you know, also just having a Zelda Maker, like an official Zelda Maker.
Yeah.
That would be neato, and it would be kind of filling the void that's just been the 2D top-down Zeldas.
Yeah, for sure.
Just kind of put that in the hands of the Maker fans, and we're gonna get something interesting, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like they already have the core there for like Link's Awakening remake. Then they could just throw in like Link Between Worlds style, maybe.
Oh yeah.
And then like the 16-bit Link to the Past and the 8-bit original Legend of Zelda, and then there you go. And if they were to somehow like go the extra step and have like the engines for each one in their style, like people would go nuts. Kind of like how some people still like are able to recreate some of the Mario world unique aspects, even though some of it's gone. But like being able to really like go in and use some of, because Link to the Past has a very exploitable engine that's really fun to play around with. Like, so if they could somehow, like, this is obviously just like the most like head in the clouds kind of thought, but yeah, it'd be really cool to see, because it would also be able to show off like the power increase, because like Mario Maker, the stages are very small in Mario Maker 1, and then Mario Maker 2 they're a little bigger, and they were still like pretty limited in stuff, and it would lag when you do enough stuff. So like it would be really cool to see just the improvement in performance as well in comparison.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see what they do there. And I would be really impressed if they somehow slipped in some way to represent Zelda 2. I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah.
But I guess in like Link's Awakening, sometimes it would sort of side scroll.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
That's true.
But then again, you know, the people that develop the Maker series are really creative.
Yeah.
In how they make the engine for it. So, oh yeah, and the amiibo support would be so cool. Like the coolest thing about the original Mario Maker was the amiibo support. All sorts of amiibo stuff. So
my crazy ideas that aren't exactly like very, very out there, but they're also very Nintendo-like.
They are very Nintendo-like. Like I would not be surprised if they decide to actually go and actually are having another Maker game in the works. Yeah, I would just, you know, go pretty nuts if it were Kirby.
Yeah. I guess like 64.
Oh my gosh, if they actually let you switch to have Dreamland 3, I get to make my own Dreamland 3 levels. Oh.
We get to have the true difficulty of the original Kirby Dreamland. Just insane. I would never play them.
Yeah, no, awesome pick.
It was your turn.
Oh yeah, my turn. So this is kind of an obvious pick for nerds like me. I would go pretty nuts if they started. Maybe, but what I was actually going to say was Super Smash Brothers. If they decide to go ahead and hit us with just the hint that there is another Smash Bros down the pipeline and it's going to be releasing along with the next system, boy oh boy.
I feel like that could be a whole topic on its own.
Yeah, really? Like, who do we want to come back? What kind of game do you want it to be? Because it can't just be like Ultimate but more, because Ultimate's Ultimate.
Yeah, and I think they already said that if there ever was, like, that this was never going to be able to happen again.
No, they would if they wanted to have anything like that again, they would have to summon the soul of Satoru Iwata to come back and order Sakurai to secretly work on the game again.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm pretty sure Sakurai is pretty done with Smash Bros.
Announce it ahead of time again, and then say, "Okay, look, bro, we really need you." I totally just announced that shit. Sakurai's like, "Yeah, I was surprised to hear about it too. Yeah, us too, please." Classic business decision. Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, I totally just announced it without even letting him know." So we were pretty lucky he agreed.
What would they have done if he was all like, "No, I don't want to"?
Actually, they did say what they would do.
What would they do? Oh yeah,
you said what?
What would they do?
Iwata said that they were just going to do Melee HD.
Oh, I do kind of wonder what would have happened if they decided to just do that. I wish
we got that instead of Brawl. We were like, dang.
I don't know, man. Love Brawl, though. I still like Brawl. Brawl brought some pretty cool stuff, in my opinion. It still brought me Toon Link. I still love my Toon Link. It upped the ante in terms of what the crossover can be, because it brought over Snake and Sonic, and that's nutso. It's all like, realistic Mario. Yeah, they had the smudgy texture Mario stuff.
Yeah, with the little imperfections on the overalls.
Yeah, and just honestly, like the whole subspace story stuff.
Do you remember the original announcement trailer where it showed the Melee models come in and then they transformed into their Brawl ones? Like, that was such a cool trailer.
Yeah, Kirby looked awesome.
Yeah, that one was so funny. I think everybody laughed at that one.
Kirby was going
Kirby looked confused.
Everybody looks different. What's going on? I think I have more polys.
Yeah, I think there's more triangles on my circle. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I definitely wouldn't mind. I could even see it going as a eShop title, where it's a much smaller scale Smash Brothers, but at the same time, I feel like Nintendo would look at it like, okay, this is one of our most major franchises ever. That wouldn't be received well if we made it a smaller project, you know?
Yeah. If they actually decided to do the Melee HD, I think that would still be received pretty cool. As long as they gave it netcode to rollback to please the dang nerds.
Yeah, I think that would be probably a great idea. Just kind of bring, because Ultimate's still going strong, so they don't need to compete with it.
Yeah, they don't need to compete. Especially if the Switch 2 does end up being backwards compatible, you don't really need to compete with it. But doing Melee does kind of fall in line with a lot of what Nintendo has been doing with the GameCube library.
That's true.
Because they have been giving us a bunch of the GameCube library, but kind of HD. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they did the Metroid Prime. They're giving us Thousand Year Door. They did Pikmin 1 and 2. You know, and just like giving us Melee, just kind of in the same vein. Is just exactly what they're doing. Also, give me Kirby Air Ride, please.
I would also not mind if FromSoft, the guys who made Dark Souls, would release their GameCube masterpiece, Lost Kingdoms 1 and 2.
Especially 2, because I feel like I so missed out. Because we kept on putting it off.
Every way.
See, I have no idea, but like we kept on putting it off because we're all like, well, you know, there's other stuff to get. So we're just not going to get 2 right now. And then, you know, now you have to pay like, what, $200 for like a loose copy of it? Dang.
It really is sad because like that era of FromSoft was so experimentation. Like they made so many unique things then, and like none of them sold. And so like it's similar to like Game Freak, where after they released X and Y, they did like 5 completely unique games that all did horrendously. So they just went straight back to Pokemon and never strayed away again. Like that's what happened with FromSoft, is that they got a hit with like Dark Souls, and then they just never went back. And I was just like, come on, man. I really like Lost Kingdoms. Come on.
Lost
like,
Kingdom was awesome.
It's such like an objectively frustrating, and like if it was released today, everyone would hate it, but I don't. Because there's Lost Kingdoms is one of the classic era of like you have to like replay the game better each time. Because everything in it is one and done permanently. So if you miss something, it's gone permanently. If you don't get it, it's gone permanently. When you beat the level, you get a random pick a card and you lose the rest of them permanently. And so it's like it can be very frustrating, and you're like, well, I feel like I missed out. Should I restart my file? But
I don't remember that. But I do remember liking the game a lot, because I did also have it, and you know, we still got it.
Oh yeah, I love it.
It's just I haven't turned
the
it on.
music's so cool. Like I really liked the soundtrack for the game. Yeah, I would love to see on Switch too. Like, I know it's really sucks. Like people like talk about how common it is for remakes, but I wouldn't even mind like an expanded virtual console on the Switch too, and having like, because everyone talks about the GameCube virtual console or like the N64 Mini before the Nintendo Switch Online 64 stuff came out.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind if they did a GameCube like library of like re-releases or something like that.
Yeah, honestly,
just to have access, or specifically on games that are just so hard to get now, or like very expensive. Because like that was the reason for the Wii Virtual Console, and they would specifically release titles on it that were getting secondhand overpriced, and then the prices would like drop dramatically whenever they released it on Virtual Console.
Oh, absolutely.
So like it was really cool when I read about that, because like I think it was in an Iwata Asks, he mentioned the secondhand prices just getting astronomical, but they just didn't have the resources to just remake games or re-release them. So they were like, yeah, Virtual Console was like a great way of like addressing that.
Yeah, that was the point for things to go digital. Nintendo.
So they like released them whenever they saw like secondhand market just getting way too expensive. And
Satoru Iwata goes to GameStop and is all like, guys, we have one.
He goes to a flea market. It's like, whoa, oh man, that sucks. Hey guys, we gotta release this.
This game stinks.
Just calls I was like, hey, release it, except to the United States.
Yeah, don't give it to those Americans. Leave Reggie out of this one.
Yeah. So I would love to say, God, there's no way FromSoft would ever acknowledge, like they really did not like how bad their games were doing, and so I really don't see them ever even acknowledging Lost Kingdoms. But God, I kind of want to get one of my OCs like cosplaying one of the princesses, because it's just I really like the character designs. The gameplay was so unique. Like, man.
Yeah, there really is nothing quite like Lost Kingdoms. Like you could easily like kind of imagine Pokemon having gone that direction. It just never actually did. The way that you just kind of toss out cards and monsters come out to beat things up for you.
Yeah, you could transform into them. You could have them summons. You could temporarily like use their body parts. Well, I don't know if it's like their body parts, but like in the first game it seemed like it, but in the second one it seemed more like the manifestation as you perform the action, where like she'll swing her arm and like a lizard man's blade was coming through. But in the second game it was more you saw the spirit of the lizard man kind of like engulf you or like stand slightly in front of you and swing while you did the motion too. So yeah, I would just that whole era, like the GameCube era and PS2 era, is really where like so much experimentation and uniqueness that you just don't see anymore. I feel like like you could really just go in and find just a complete gem that you just never is unlike anything.
Yeah, that really was what it was like back then. Like you could just like go in and just find the strangest game to ever get like a printing.
Yeah, it was like, wow,
like, guys, look at this game called Tulip that I just got.
Yeah,
it's a game where you kiss.
Yeah. The DS also kind of had that. Like eventually, like the next generation after the GameCube, PS2 when it was a Wii, the DS kind of took that over. But yeah, it's just
different times.
Now you don't really see it. Yeah.
But you know what? That does kind of line up with another one of the things that I would go kind of nuts for, which is just GameCube on NSO. I think that would solve a lot of our problems, honestly. They don't want to print anything, but From Software can be all like, oh, well, you know, you could just have this. You have this.
Yeah, I really hope they would, because, and like, they like I'm just looking at the reactions, because like, so for the N64, they have actually started doing that with like the most out there third parties. Like, I grew up with like Iggy's Wrecking Balls, and for some reason NSO put it on there last week. And it was like, what the hell is an Iggy's Wrecking Ball? But it like, I distinctly remember how like often we would turn that on as kids. Like, it's the most like weird. If you look up the box art, you will be like, what the hell am I looking at? Like what you're imagining when you hear Iggy's Wrecking Balls, it's not what you're going to see when you Google it.
What? Okay, now I have to do it.
Yeah, go for it. Iggy's Wrecking Ball N64 like box art.
Iggy's Wrecking Balls. Let's see here. How much does this cost these days? I just want. What is this cover?
Look at the little girl in the background.
Right? Like, it's a little bit disturbing.
If you look at the Japanese art, you could argue it's even more disturbing, honestly. But it's so funny. Yeah, like
the Japanese. There's a guy freaking out in the background. What is this?
It was a lot of fun.
Definitely with this box art, I would not have even tried it, but like looking at what the gameplay looks like, I am fairly intrigued.
Yeah, Acclaim would make all kinds of like creative games back then, and or at least publish them. And yeah, so Nintendo has been releasing, but it's always a negative response every time I see it. Like them do like something like that where they will release like a really niche or like unique game from back then, because they'll be like, there'll always be the response, okay, yeah, literally who game, what about, and then like the most popular game of like, where's like Donkey Kong 64, or hey, where's like Paper Mario, or where's Mario 64, just anything that's like the most common game ever. So but if they did do a GameCube NSO, I really hope that they would like take those more or lesser known like Mystic Heroes, like no one's really heard of.
Yeah. Even though the PS2 version's better just for having more characters, but just having it available and online,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't with NSO, it's a little bit more possible.
Yeah.
than trying to just straight up port everything individually. But yeah, and you know, even if they decide to go with putting Melee on it, which I doubt, it would still cover, you know, some bases of, well, it'll have online automatically.
Yeah, even if it'll be,
hopefully the Switch 2 just online experience is better. But yeah, covers a lot of spaces, maybe even give us all of the Mario parties that are way too expensive.
Yeah. And the GameCube ones were like honestly more popular than any other Mario Party. Like Mario Party 1 people like for the nostalgia, but it's not actually the one most people like playing. 2 people just like for the aesthetic.
Oh yeah, I love the costumes.
Yeah, but the one that most people enjoy playing is 4 and 5, which are the GameCube ones. And for me, like 7 is way up there too.
7. Is that when they started having the microphone?
Yes, 7's the microphone one.
Yeah, I don't know what they would do to replace that, but it was neat. It was neat having the microphone.
Every one of them was controller compatible.
Really?
Yeah, if the microphone was unplugged, it would default to the controller one. But it would make some of them very hard, or some of them like impossible to win against your friends, because you see what is being selected. But for some of them, it was harder. Yeah, and some of them it was harder because the phrases would be a bit long to the response. So like you saying it out loud, they would react before the game would calculate it. So in that case, the menu with the controller was faster and better. So yeah, it would just change the meta. Like it changed the meta a bit.
It was fun to just say like gobbledygook into the mic.
Oh yeah, the secret commands. Yeah,
yeah, there were secret commands, and then it's just
Goomba.
Exactly. But yeah, GameCube NSO, if that were somehow on release with the Switch 2, that would be cool.
Yeah, I agree.
See, what else you got, Lou?
So I wouldn't mind. So Square Enix has a way of making a unique RPG on every console, and so I would love to see something that really is like Switch 2 identity. Because like with the DS, like their RPGs were very unique on the DS. 3DS as well, like Bravely Default was a 3DS. Took advantage of it. Kingdom Hearts 358 on the original DS was like shocking what they could do on a DS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like the Super Nintendo, they were iconic. The original Nintendo, they were iconic. 64, I don't think they did anything on. But just like they had a way for the GameCube, Crystal Chronicles, like
oh yeah.
Yeah, so like they had a way of like really making a unique RPG for a console. And like there's probably one that everyone thinks of whenever they think of it, some of each console, even though like the PlayStation ones and Xbox ones, like. So I would love to see a RPG from Square Enix, because they've really kind of been like in the hole for like the last like 5 years. So I would really love to see, and like with Switch even, like the Octopath Traveler. So like they still are kind of doing that kind of thing. So I would love to see for Switch 2 them just to really come in, because they are unmatched when it comes to like visual effects. Like their games are just stunning. Like
stunning.
Just look at even at like Final Fantasy VII Remake, like whatever like you think of the game itself, just like it is visually gorgeous. Like, and like I still remember Crystal Chronicles, just the effects of just Cure is just gorgeous. The blue sparkles and everything. It's just they have a way with visual effects that I don't see any other company really doing. Like they have their own unique flair, and like they're like the Disney of like.
Oh my gosh, dude!
They are magic. Like, so I would love to see like Square Enix really, like, even if the Switch 2 isn't super powerful, they have a way of stylization.
Yeah, they would definitely know how to work with the technology that they're given.
Yeah, like it's just like Final Fantasy X and Crystal Chronicles, completely different consoles, different visual styles, but still managed to look beautiful in their own ways. And so like I would love to see Square Enix just come out, like even if it is a sequel to an existing series, like they just decide to go again with Octopath Traveler, or make a proper Crystal Chronicles because they did the re-release on Switch. Just an entirely new like Mana game. There's something that really like, or like a callback to like some of the Super Nintendo franchises that they did, and really just come out swinging with something really like memorable and stunning. I think would be like, because we loved like PlayStation 2 when we got it. It was Final Fantasy X. Like that was what we got, and it was just completely memorable. Like such a fantastic game. And so yeah, like Square Enix, like if they can go back to some of their like really heyday to make something that just everyone wants to get, it shows off what it can do. Great first impression of the console. I'd love to see that.
Oh yeah, that now that you like bring it up, yeah, they do always find a way to just kind of own, create an identity for themselves, especially on like the Nintendo consoles. Mm-hmm. Even when they released Octopath Traveler, that kind of established the whole HD 2D style.
Yeah.
Which is still going strong, and there's other people picking it up. There's indie people picking up the style.
Oh yeah, it really did.
And you know, it looks fantastic. It has a timelessness to it, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. And like I don't know like how difficult it is to work with, but I want to imagine that it's a little bit easier for like producing stuff. But I guess it would depend on like the 3D modeling versus 2D sprites, like I guess like how much effort you put into either one, I guess. So
yeah, it depends on how hard exactly you feel like going on the on the visuals. For the most part, it's a lot of bloom on the camera and shaders, from what I can tell, and you know, sprites are inherently made to be efficient, optimal. In comparison to other visual styles, it should be able to run on things pretty well.
Yeah, because I know in the PS2 era, it was a lot easier for 3D models because you just, you know, make one model and you can pose it. But I feel like these days that kind of like which one's easier than the other is kind of completely blurred now. Where it just depends on how much effort you put, or like what this skill set is nowadays. I feel like it could depend on your team.
If you have like a really good specialist that does pixels or 2D animation.
Because I've seen artists that just like they can just really put out some really good models. Like it's just crazy how fast they can like do them and look great. And same with like pixel artists, just they can make like a full, really gorgeous animation in like a week, and you're just like, wow, it's so fast. So
professionals, man.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, let's see here. Kind of piggybacking off of that, you know how much I love my JRPGs, and I do have to talk about it pretty much every episode. So I would go absolutely nutso if they decided to announce a new Blue Reflection game.
I was not expecting that. I was saying, it's like, oh, here comes Tales of.
No, for me, I have to say Blue Reflection. Although now that you mention it, Tales of game would go. I would go bonkers. But first and foremost, I think I would go pretty nutso for a Blue Reflection. Because, well, first of all, those games look stunning. And the second one made it onto the Switch. So I feel like it would be pretty cool if another one came out, and they should announce it with a new console coming out. So if it came out on launch with a new console, that would be cool. And then I'd be able to like take my cute girls everywhere with my Switch 2 that is probably going to be handheld also console. now that I think about it, it really is an assumption that the new system is going to be both a console and a handheld in one.
Yeah, so I wonder where they're gonna go with it for sure. Because I don't know if the Steam Deck was the Steam Deck really like selling hotcakes.
Oh yeah, well, it was definitely going strong. I'd say it's a pretty big success. People still care about it. People are still trying to make things compatible for it. Like just recently, I noticed that Trails to the Sky is recently compatible with it.
Oh, good.
Because beforehand it was very not.
I can think of several people who would have been devastated finding that out.
Yep. But now it is. I think they're still working on the second game to be compatible. But apparently the third game is compatible. But yeah, the Steam Deck, pretty strong as a console, as a handheld.
Yeah, so if it's still going strong, then I could imagine that they would try to stick with the Switch 2 to keep those kind of features.
Yeah, I would hope so, because I think it's pretty nifty.
And I would guess with it being over 6 years old that the technology has improved and is cheaper now to still be able to really upgrade the specs and still keep those. But I guess backwards compatibility is a bit difficult as well, because for like some consoles where like in the Wii they literally had to put a GameCube in it for backwards compatibility, and same with the PS3, they had to actually put a full PS1 and 2 in there, I think, if I remember right. So like they actually just straight up put the whole console in there to have backwards compatibility. So it would kind of, I wonder how they'll handle that, because the size and the form factor is very important for like a portable.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Especially even when it comes to like the Steam Deck, I think that it is kind of chonky.
Yeah, like anytime I see people like I never see people like, yeah, I'm taking it with me on the go. No, it's, yeah, I took it with me on the go to the other room. So, and especially with like Switch, people complain about wrist cramps with its original like weight. So I can't imagine with the Steam Deck.
It is definitely not a system you want to accidentally drop on your face, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely curious, but yeah, for sure. It would be fun to have Nick your blue reflections on the go. I would,
absolutely love to have my blue reflections, even if it's like a port of one. Just finally being there.
Turned on.
But having a third blue reflection, progressing the series, giving me more of what I love. Because it's such a good series in just expanding on its established lore across media. But yeah, I would love to see those characters again. I love them all so much. I just happen to love Hinako the most. But yeah, definitely blue reflection. But what else you got, Blue?
So for me, I would like to see a Pokemon game. So whether it be a new one entirely, even a remake, or if they do like the Breath of the Wild approach and the better performing version of a game that's being released on the original Switch be on Switch 2, would be really fantastic. Because like Pokemon Legends Arceus, like it was fantastic, but it did have, slowdown here and there, or some kind of like chugging moments, or like they had to make some compromises for some of the visuals. So it'd be really cool to see if the Legends X and Y Z gets released on Switch 2, and it's able to kind of take advantage of the upgraded hardware a bit. Because like the Breath of the Wild on Wii U, it chugged, but for some reason at some places it performed better than the Switch one for whatever reason.
Oh, I did not know that.
One specific part. Yeah, it's like it was just like the most random thing, and no one knows why. But the Switch one performed better overall and looked better. And so it was really cool to be able to do either one. So like, because I had a friend who did the Wii U one, and they didn't have too much of an issue, but it was like a lot more slow down and visual sacrifice. But yeah, I would love to see a Pokemon game that kind of takes advantage of it, the new hardware, because Pokemon tends to also always take advantage of new hardware for everything. Like the Game Boy Advance being able to have a clock, the DS features, they took advantage of everything, where like they would literally have the gyro be how you evolved a Pokemon by turning your 3DS or DS upside down to evolve a Pokemon. Putting your DS to sleep mode would activate some things, and the Switch also had it to where if you I forgot what it was. There was something you did with the Joy-Cons to do it, and then the 3DS, if you did a spin in place, you could create a upgraded Pokemon as well, like evolve. So, like, yeah, I would just love to see Pokemon get creative and take advantage of the new hardware in some way.
Yeah, whatever that new hardware is. It would be cool to see what Pokemon would do with it. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not like the biggest Pokemon fan, but I still do enjoy the series and give it money.
Yeah.
I always love looking forward to seeing like the new trainer designs, gym leaders, trainers.
Yeah.
I like the character designs.
And their soundtracks are always consistently good. And for some reason, they really, really like putting all of their effort into the songs you will hear a single time and never again in the franchise.
They want to go hard on this one track that you're gonna hear once.
And I think in Scarlet and Violet, there's literally 3 tracks you will hear a single time in the entire game. And I'm just like, wow, and they're really good. They're really nice, and you'll never hear them again. I think they remedy, I don't know if they did it in Scarlet and Violet, but I know in X and Y and Sun and Moon, they did kind of remedy that in that you could choose any soundtrack from the game for friendlies, online battles, and in the Battle Tower. But I think in Sword and Shield, they limited the Battle Tower to like 3 or 4 songs, which is kind of strange. I could be misremembering that though, but yeah, that was very... I recall like, I don't get to see all the songs here. But yeah, so Pokemon, they have so much creativity still. Like, I think now they don't even get credit for it as much as they used to. But yeah, I would love to see them. I definitely believe it will sell hardcore if they were to release a Pokemon anything with Switch 2. Like that right there will be like probably the highest selling.
Yeah, for real. Pokemon is like the most lucrative franchise in the world. I think.
Like, I think there's one game that I have on my list that might outsell it at launch if it were to.
You got me curious, but before we get to that one, I do need to insert Kirby. I want to have Kirby. Of course we want Kirby. Honestly, anything Kirby, but you know, extra points if it got gooey.
Kirby's and Gooey's Lost World.
Yes, Gooey Lost World, featuring Sonic.
Yeah.
It would be great to have like another main title that does 3D again, because you know,
Kirby's Forgotten Land.
Kirby's Forgotten Friend is Gooey. And then it's just all like a game where you play as Gooeys.
Yeah.
Instead of Waddle Dees. But it'd be great to see if they could progress that gameplay, somehow fit 4 players. I don't know how they would make it work, but Kirby devs are smart.
Be like those old GameCube Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games.
Yeah. It would definitely kind of move a little bit slower than...
Oh, definitely. Or like those old Marvel games.
Yeah. But those tend to kind of err closer to like kind of beat 'em ups in design, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Which, you know, Kirby is a little bit like to some degree because, you know, we have the combat with the powers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would definitely love to see how they figure that out.
Yeah, they probably have to focus more on like a combat aspect of it.
Yeah, probably. They did a great job focusing on what you could do with abilities in Forgotten Land, with the way you would level them up. And also they had like the different challenges that were legitimately challenging and pretty fun to find and also just do. But yep, seeing what Kirby could do if they continued going in the 3D direction. But of course, if they gave us another 2D side-scrolling Kirby, I would still be fine with that. You know, that is the thing that I am nostalgic for, and I look forward to still seeing. So I'm not really saying that I want Forgotten Land to just be Kirby from now on. You know, I still want to see my 2D Kirbys. But yeah, even if they didn't decide to do oh yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't mind another attempt at maybe even an online Amazing Mirror kind of game.
Ooh, if they decide to like do some Metroidvania-ing.
Yeah,
with
and then
Kirby?
with everyone having their own,
with their own system and their own camera, and then you could just meet up. That is pretty good. It's like kind of the height of Kirby multiplayer, possibly.
Yeah. Or again, Kirby Air Ride online play.
Absolutely, I would love to see a Kirby Air Ride, maybe in HD or maybe even its own game. Own new entry.
But I feel
to
like
Kirby
that
Air
one
Ride.
would be. I definitely feel like a sequel to Kirby Air Ride would have to involve Sakurai. Like, he's just such an essence in Air Ride, and was like such a director for it. Like a goal and like the vision for it. Like, I feel like he'd have to be involved, but maybe. Like, I'm not completely sure.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. He is a freelancer these days, so I guess technically, if they really wanted Sakurai, HAL Laboratory would just be all like, so we're hiring Sora Limited to come direct this
or
for
maybe
us.
he would like consult, maybe kind of like how Miyamoto will pop in and like consult for like some of his old franchises. Like he'll pop in and be like, okay, we'll play through the demo. All right, this, like here's a tip, advice, and then just send it, and then come back a month later and see what they got.
I know that would still be kind of weird because he is a freelancer. Because he doesn't belong to Nintendo or HAL Laboratory at this point. He is Sora Limited.
Yeah, he's sorely limited with his time.
With his health. But yeah, would love to see a Kirby game, Kirby Air Ride, seeing what else they could do with it, right? Because like, City Trial was fun, but you know what, seeing like a bigger, newer version with more things to do would be fantastic.
More interaction for it too, like making the buildings actually interactable even. Like you could with like Hydra plow through a building and you have access to the inside of the building.
Yeah, that would be great.
Or demolish a whole building.
Yep, and then just have like new events to happen. Those the events were so cool.
It's like you take the role of a Waddle Dee that lives in the city, and it's you see these 4 Kirbys going through with like events happening and like destroying everything, and you're just the trial is you surviving the Kirby's 3 minutes in the city.
Don't get destroyed by the Kirby onslaught.
Yeah, and then you'll have cameos hidden throughout the city. A lot of that, it's a random chance of it happening each time you play. You might see a Gooey in the background or a Rick underneath one of the buildings.
Why is it suddenly a horror game?
It's a city trial. You just see DDD desperately
those dang Kirbys.
I gotta get that damn Kirby. Dynablade desperately trying to save her chicks.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, Kirby would be cool.
Yeah, would love Kirby. Absolutely would go nuts no matter what they announce. But yeah, you got anything else?
Yeah, I think what would probably move so many consoles that they probably wouldn't keep up with it is if they did release the follow-up to the Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. Oh.
Yeah, like it was the best-selling, one of the best-selling titles on the Switch, if I remember right.
Has to have been.
Bar none, yeah. Like I think it's actually top 3 if I remember right. I could be off on that, but it sold like the best in the franchise. And yeah, like it would absolutely sell a lot of consoles. People would literally line up to try to get it. So it would be cool to see them kind of expand, because like they did a lot of updates to the game. Like half the game almost. Playing a 1.0 versus the current one is just like, it's almost Star Allies level, probably worse than Star Allies level actually. Yeah, because like half the features were DLC or like patched in. So it would be interesting seeing a new Animal Crossing that comes with the Switch 2, and it would definitely push the online aspect a lot. And if they did decide to focus more on like the improving the online features for the next console, that would be definitely one of them to highlight that improvement.
Yeah, I do wonder if it will move as many as we think it would, because there's something a little bit serendipitous about the release of the the current Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, because it released at the start of the pandemic.
Yeah, released at the start of the pandemic. It was exactly what people needed at the exact right time.
Yeah, I mean,
so if we try to give them a new game, I wonder if they would immediately want to jump to it, because their lives are exactly in that one. I wonder if it'll be kind of like how audiences that came in for the Wii did not really take to the Wii U because they were so content with whatever they were doing with the Wii. You know what I mean?
That's true. PS4 and 5 are kind of similar.
But I'm pretty sure that there are definitely a pretty good amount of audience for Animal Crossing that would be chomping at the bit to have a new entry. Because Animal Crossing is really good at adding completely different scenarios and features in every title.
Yeah, with the exception of City Folk.
Well, City Folk had its like the whole city thing. Well, I guess it's not that huge, but it was definitely a different thing.
It's just another shop.
and it had the We Speak, the microphone.
That is true. It did have voice chat. That is true.
So that was back then. That was revolutionary in my eyes, because I never talked to anybody through the internet. I think it was literally you were like the first person I ever talked to over the power of the internet through We Speak.
Yeah. That was fun. Yeah, I feel like with the new Animal Crossing, I don't know, like I guess it could be a mispredict, but it felt to me more like the way Monster Hunter happened with Monster Hunter World, where that one was so significantly more successful and caught on so much bigger that it did carry over into Rise, where like it outsold like the whole franchise, and that those that got into it from World stuck with it to Rise. So I felt like it might be with that, but I guess it could be the opposite case, where it is that people were so they put in so much effort, were so content with the Switch one, that, and I guess also because it's backwards compatible too, that might also be a big thing.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that kind of thing. So if they did have backwards compatible, it probably would be a lot less desirable, because then you could so maybe just you could expand it with the online features. Because I know it was still quite limited with how Animal Crossing worked with the online interactions. It was quite limited. So it would be cool to see that kind of expanded more. So yeah, I guess we would see. So maybe not like it would depend, I guess, on how the Switch 2's features are then.
Yeah, a lot of this list can be really dependent on what is new with the Switch 2.
Yeah,
because we are making a whole lot of assumptions. Maybe it'll have dual screens. Maybe it'll actually be a hybrid console and handheld. You know,
backwards compatible,
backwards compatibility,
online focus.
Mm-hmm. Rollback.
Yeah, rollback.
Yeah. But no. There would definitely be people ready to go nuts for a new Animal Crossing. Like, even though I've only played the latest Animal Crossing literally for like 20 minutes, I would probably still buy it.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be honest. I'll still buy it.
Like Animal Crossing. The only one I didn't play as much as I thought I would was actually New Leaf for some reason. Like, I'm actually surprised at how little I played New Leaf when I got it, because it actually is, like, I think to still most Animal Crossing fans, that one's their favorite. Ones that like got into the series before the newest one on Switch, like that one was like the one that everyone like to the point where even after the Switch Animal Crossing came out, people still preferred New Leaf before the updates happened, because New Leaf still had more features. Like it was kind of crazy. But yeah, nowadays, like, yeah, New Leaf is just kind of like put the dust with all the updates that happened. But it did take like 2 years for all those updates. So.
I am kind of with you there, because I did not put as much time into New Leaf as I thought I would.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to go in on that, but I definitely did not.
I did definitely put some time into it, just not nearly as much as I thought I would. Just because, again, that was a period of time where I had to go try to finish all my university stuff, and I had other things I was trying to figure out, and just eventually had the Switch in my hands, and I had an entire new generation of games to play.
Yeah.
I would still go nuts for a new Animal Crossing announcement. I definitely know people that would, because they definitely put in the dang old time.
Yeah, for sure.
So, no, that is a great pick. If Nintendo really wanted to get that kind of attention, move all those consoles, like Animal Crossing, like even if it were like a spin-off of Animal Crossing, I think that would get a lot of attention and move a lot of sales.
Yeah, I think Happy Home Academy was pretty popular, actually.
Yeah, really. I do think that lasted. Is it still up? People still doing it?
It's still up? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Even if they wanted to try to take another shot at trying to do a board game.
Like on the Wii U one?
Yeah. I actually have not played it, but I want to try it just to see if it's as not great as people make it sound. But I bought it.
Yeah, you can try it out here when you visit. I have it. So.
Heck yeah. I'll even bring some of my own amiibo.
Yeah, I have the amiibos too, yeah.
But yeah.
It was not that bad, but it is very simple. Like, it is very simple.
Yep. Some might say that is the point of Animal Crossing to some degree.
Yeah, my sisters really liked it.
But yeah, Animal Crossing, anything, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Let's see here. As for me, I think it is pretty obligatory, especially at this point, for us to get a completely new 3D Mario.
Yeah.
Because thinking back at it, Odyssey was kind of a long time ago.
Yes, it was 5 years, 6 years, one of those.
Yep. Somehow they did not give us an Odyssey 2, even though that probably would have made sense. We even got 2 kind of Breath of the Wild games for this generation, but we somehow did not get another Odyssey.
I'm seeing more and more the response to Odyssey now that like the like I guess with time, which I guess like most games do, but a lot of people like the magic wearing off on the original Odyssey, and a lot of more people are like pointing out just how many like flaws and dislikes they have for it that a sequel would easily address. Because like a lot of it, the complaints with the original Odyssey is probably due to how much pre-production it probably took to make, and it just being like a first game kind of thing. Like Sunshine suffered with a similar response and reaction these days, where everyone, you know, really, it was huge, everyone loved it at the time, and then like once a few years passed, they look back at it and see a lot of flaws or rushed development or missing things or things they would improve that Nintendo never really got to do a second swing at. And with Odyssey, I could like, there's such a strong foundation on Odyssey. Like people like say like to this day that it's like one of the best movement and feels, and it, like Mario just feels the best he's ever felt, and like his move set was just expanded. Like maybe the wall jump sucks ass, but they could fix that. Like the wall jump is absolutely awful. It is the worst it's ever been in Odyssey. Like it feels awful, it works awful, and so it would be really cool to see them give another swing at it, because like Odyssey, yeah, there's just so much there that a sequel just seems like obvious. Like Mario Galaxy and 2 is such a good example of that, where 2, like everyone universally adores 2's gameplay. Like obviously its story is awful because there is none, but and Rosalina is absent, but it's such a clear improvement, because like their ideas, they had so many that they couldn't fit it into just an add-on, and they didn't get to do it in the first game because they had to release it. And then once they got that second stab, just the amount of ideas and creativity and levels and ways of using Mario's moveset and the difficulty balancing was so good. So I was also surprised there wasn't a second Odyssey, and I feel like they really would pay off with that. Like similar to how Breath of the Wild, like Tears of the Kingdom to many people just replaces the original, just because of how much like, and people will still be like still have like some similar complaints to the first one as in the second one, but it's more like a superficial kind of thing, where it's like kind of like how most sandbox games will have, like, oh, this place is kind of empty at the end of the day, but you know, it's, the idea of exploration though is what was fascinating. But it's like they're like, oh, I'm kind of disappointed now that I explored it all and there wasn't as much there. But that's kind of like hindsight, not necessarily like while you're playing the game kind of thing. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think a second Odyssey would be fantastic for it.
Yeah, a second Odyssey, or just something that works kind of on a lot of the same systems, because, you know, like you said, Mario feels great to move around as. Even though I didn't spend as much time on it as a lot of people, I think I only have around 15 to 20 hours of gameplay on it. It was a dense, fun experience, even for a casual player like me. So yeah, I would love to see another 3D Mario, even if it's not Odyssey per se, even if they come up with a whole new system of things for Mario to interact with the world in.
It is
would love to see
incredible how different every 3D Mario game looks and feels and plays. Like,
oh, absolutely. Like
really
Odyssey has a completely different personality from like Galaxy. This Galaxy had like this very grand feeling to it, but there's something pretty chill about Odyssey.
Yeah, and like Galaxy had the least distant jumps of any of the 4 play styles. Like I remember just how awkward it felt jumping, or like the long jump was just like completely gutted in Galaxy. But they made the world, like they built the world around that, and so like after like an hour you just never think of it again. And the same with like Odyssey. You never really need the wall jump, except for that one in New Donk City where you have to jump up the skyscraper, and that's when you really notice how god awful the wall jump is. Because like the idea is that you're almost never using the wall jump, because you usually do the wall jump just once. You're doing it to jump off a wall to then throw the cap to, you know, do your movement. So it's built around that kind of feeling. But yeah, like it would be really cool to see them really expand on the ideas there. And honestly, it would be a real shame if they did go completely new and just kind of like leave that one there. But like, yeah, like going from 64 to Sunshine, radically different movement, feel, everything is just completely different. And the world had to also compensate with FLUDD, so like platforms were a lot wider and bigger and that kind of thing. So yeah, it would be interesting to see where they go with a new 3D Mario.
Yeah, it really is impressive how different mechanically they are with every entry.
Mm-hmm.
So yep, and it always feels good. Always feels good to just turn on. So you can't wait to see what kind of personality they want to give to it.
Yeah,
because we already did.
They really do. They really do show, like, it really is like, you do see the effort that they usually do with the philosophy of Mario, where the first thing they do is make sure Mario is extremely fun to play and handle, and then they build the game.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, 3D Mario would definitely incline me more to buy a Switch 2 on release, just to see what all that is about. You have another one, Blue?
Yeah, one of them, I have two. One of them is if they do go the whole like more online feature aspect, and the other is more power aspect. So Nintendo has a reputation. Well, I don't know if it's a big reputation, but every game console that they released, they had a big grand tech demo using Zelda.
Okay.
Probably the most, well, I don't know, I guess it depends, but there's the two infamous ones is the GameCube one, where they used Ocarina of Time Link versus Ganondorf in a sword fight.
Oh.
And it was like grand and epic, and everyone thought that that's what it was going to be before it was Wind Waker. And people were absolutely pissed. And then they even did the same thing with 64, where it was Zelda 2 Link fighting a skeleton. And that eventually became Ocarina of Time and how we knew it.
Yeah.
And then the Wii U had the most infamous one, where it was Twilight Princess Link fighting Goma from, and it was showing off the power of the Wii U. And it was a stunning looking demo. Like, everyone was talking about it. And then we never got a Wii U Zelda game until Breath of the Wild, which was then a Switch launch title. So I would love to see like a Zelda game that really takes advantage of its console and like be closer to like how, like, really show off what the details that Nintendo likes to put in their games, to really show off what they can do. Because yeah, like that tech demo still holds up. If you haven't seen the Wii U tech demo for Zelda lately, like, it just, looking back at it, it's stunning, because it shows off so many incredibly beautiful effects, clothing, physics, hair, like just the colors and the shading and everything just looks so good in it. So I would love to see something like that with it. And then if it was online features, I'd love to see a full-fledged 99 game from Nintendo.
Oh.
Like something that's really like not just a small arcadey, although those are usually the best for that, but something that's like a really more like a full-fledged title. I would love to see, like, even if it's something like Fall Guys, but it's a Zelda dungeon that's randomly generated and everyone's like racing through it, or Mario 64 99, where everyone is playing a randomly generated Mario level and everyone's platforming to get through it. Or just a full-fledged like F-Zero 99 that's like I don't know if you've played F-Zero, the 64 one lately. It is hard.
Oh no, I did turn that on NSO. That game's hard.
Yeah, I would love to see like F-Zero X 99, just like really go in like something big.
That's intense,
really,
dude.
Yeah,
like F-Zero 99 is already pretty intense, but like kicking it up to F-Zero X, boy, howdy.
Yeah, I'd love to see that because, just some big 99 game I think would be fun. Even if they do the Metroid Prime 2 multiplayer and make that just a big battle royale, that'd be fun.
Oh, honestly, like the 99 stuff is really cool. Like, I had some pretty legitimate fun playing F-Zero 99, and when Mario 35 was up. That was pretty fun. Even if they just decided, you know what, if you got to switch to Mario 35 is back.
I got one more that for 99 that I think would be pretty cool. Kirby Air Ride City Trial 99. Like that could fit so well. Finding power-ups, 99 people, big city, events happening, and then just the big like event at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
With all 99. Yeah, with everyone's stats, and then doing the game. Like I think it would fit so well.
Yeah, as a battle royale style. No, that would be perfect. Getting it to function would be a different animal.
It's again where it's like if it's the online focus, like really fitting.
But
like even if they did do like what was it? There was a before battle royales were popular, there was I think it was an Xbox or a PlayStation 3 game where it was 100 players all on there, but they split the map into 4. And that way they could do the 100 players. And so it was like, so it was like different sections of the map that like they would put a group of players, and it was like a big like raid thing. I can't remember what it was, but I'm sure I'll remember at some point. But yeah, it was a pretty big deal that people really were excited for, but I don't recall if it ever had staying power. But yeah, something like that could work if they had trouble. But yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun though.
And that is a smart solution, like breaking it up and then having them convene at the end. Especially with the way City Trial works, that would be pretty perfect.
I guess the easiest way of like the simplest way with how it is now is just like a small load screen between the above ground and underground, and then that way you're only having to update for whoever's above or below ground while you're there. So it's not all like 99 all at once, but yeah, something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, I would go nuts for that. Man, I'm pretty ready to buy this console already, just hypothetically. But there is one game that would absolutely, just without a second thought, make me go, here's my money. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to afford this later. I'm putting it down now because I need this in my life right now. Because I have been dang old wrecking ball, physical HD. But I've been waiting for this game to have a modern release. It just never did, and honestly, the likelihood of it happening is very low. But I need Tatsunoko versus Capcom to have a dang modern port, maybe even HDify it for me, give it some dang old rollback, give it to me, because it's a crime that it is stuck on the Wii. It is one of the best. It's one of the best fighting games ever.
Hey man, it was backwards compatible with Wii U.
Honestly, I have been playing it on the Wii U lately. Yeah. But yeah, man, Tatsunoko versus Capcom. It is one of the most influential games I've ever played on my life.
Honestly, I I feel like that's a whole episode on its own, like fighting game trend.
Fighting game
like
trends. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's just so many things that I'd be able to fit Tatsunoko versus Capcom in, as far as just lists to put it in, because like it's a fighting game. It's in the Capcom versus franchise. It has my favorite characters ever. Just it has Kashan. Literally, this podcast wouldn't be happening if I never played this game, because there would be no Smacchan. There would be no channel. But yeah, Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Give it to me, Tatsunoko. Capcom, whoever else is involved in it.
Leading up to was this moment.
This moment, I literally like made up this topic just so I could talk about Kashan and how he's my favorite ever. And he had a game called Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Clearly, he was the main character. But yeah, such a crime. It just is not available legally for people to become fans of right now. And how come it didn't happen on the Switch? How come it's not there? How come it's not for anything else? How come people had to steal it? I don't know. It shouldn't be. You just put it on my body. I want it so I could spread it to the rest of the world.
It would be cool if there was a bit more of a a digital library kind of thing for the new console. If they do make it less handheld, or they like don't have that feature, and they have it more of just a standalone console, like having it to where it's easy for memory expansion, because the Nintendo consoles tend to have the most friendly library when it comes to data management. To the point that you could fit like all of their library, like all of their online libraries on like a few SD cards. Whereas like with like PlayStation 4, you could fit like maybe 4 games, depending on what they are, on your whole console. And you'd have to delete and reinstall. But like Nintendo consoles never really needed to do that. Like at most you would need to maybe buy a bigger SD card, and then after that you're set. To the point that like, I think... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that kind of goes in hand with the hardware limitations that comes with Nintendo consoles. You literally just cannot have games be that big because you have to optimize it enough to work on the console. So it forces developers to have to make things smaller, just in general.
Yeah. Because like Sakurai did a episode as well where he was showing his like game collection, and he fit every single game that ever was released on the Wii digitally onto 3 SD cards, and he was able to just keep it with his Wii. And it's like that kind of like aspect for the Nintendo consoles I think is really cool. And so if they did ever do like a Wii virtual console on the new Switch, like chances are you'd be pretty safe with just like a really nice SD card, and they could like release those games again. If granted, I think it's around the time companies started taking their own like preservation a bit more seriously. So we could hopefully see Tatsunoko versus Capcom on the Switch 2 potentially, if they do decide to go that route.
Yeah, I think it really is kind of going down to Tatsunoko themselves. I think they are a little bit stingy with their licensing.
I have heard that.
Yeah, that's just my perception of it. They seem a little bit stingy, so because like otherwise, I don't think there's really anything getting in the way of Tatsunoko versus Capcom being released, other than Tatsunoko possibly just not giving the license for the port.
I hear that's also like that seems to be the case with a lot of the crossover fighters with Capcom, is that it's like it was the same with Marvel. I heard for like a lot of the Marvel versus Capcom stuff.
Yeah, there's a complication with the ownership of X-Men, which was in the early Capcom game, or Capcom Marvel versus Capcom games. But yeah, like just in general, we haven't seen a new Capcom versus game in a while, because last one was Infinite, Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, which unfortunately seemed to have flopped since coming out.
Like that was one of the aspects of that topic I mentioned, just like all the different like fighting game trends and like where it's been lately versus like a lot of them back then. Because it's so different. Like a lot of it is like it really seems like a lot of fighting games no longer focus on like the fan or like game, like just for fun aspect versus it has to be competitive, it has to be esports, it has to be things like you don't see like the old Shaman King fighters where it's one hit kill if you land your ultimate, but if you don't land it you can't do it the rest of the game, so you basically just surrender. Or the old Naruto fighters, like Ultimate Ninja Storm 1 is just so radically different from the rest of the series. Like Budokais, the Street Fighters, like just so many old fighters that you would just see thrown out there. Just like Tatsunoko vs. Capcom is such a unique game, and so like just seeing lately, it's just mostly like esports compatible games, where as opposed to just like, yeah, there's some things that are clearly broken for fun or like just for the universe of it. Like, so like, I don't know, it's just like a thing I could also ramble on just thinking about it. Like, because like you mentioned, like you don't see those kinds of things today, or like crazy crossovers or guest characters or things like that.
Yeah, like, but honestly, the craziest crossover I could think of was like recently was Blaze Blue Cross Tag.
Yeah, for sure.
That was pretty crazy, and I don't think that's about to happen again.
Yeah.
But it was fun when it lasted.
I got to see a Sinner and Kagura character again. It's crazy.
But yeah. Is there another ultimate game that you want to see that would absolutely take your money?
Two things I thought of. One was custom Robo.
Oh, that's so cool.
I thought of that when you were like building up to Tatsunoko. It's like, oh yeah, custom Robo would be really fun.
That would be so cool.
And like I'm surprised it didn't come out on Wii U or Switch, because there was a game on there. Oh my god, what was it called? Was it Starfield? Where you have a ship that's constantly connected to the Wii U, and you could swap parts out on the physical figure, and it would happen in the game.
Oh yeah. I think that was Starfield. That was a pretty neat concept.
Yeah, so I was kind of surprised that like custom Robo or any like mech stuff didn't do that.
Yeah, like especially with like amiibos. With Amiibo, you could do stuff with like the parts. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, and then the other thing would be if because Nintendo has been taking esports a bit more seriously, to the point of like making their own leagues and their own like channels and stuff. It'd be fun to see like for the Switch 2 like controllers that would kind of support like a lot more native like fight sticks or controller options, like if they brought GameCube controller compatibility again, or making it a bit easier than to just use Bluetooth fight sticks. Like there's some that's just like straight up compatible.
Yeah, just connect.
That would be fun. Yeah, that would be fun, because like for some of my controllers, like I do have to like tap into their Bluetooth connectivity, and like it still works, but like it would be nice to just, because you can only have two Bluetooth things connected to a Switch at a time. So it would be cool to see just a bit more. And again, if they did focus more on like the online aspect as well, just kind of like really play with that, because I think it's something they want to take more seriously, but it's also like so financially dangerous, because like look at Blizzard, like they lost millions, like I think even like close to like 100 million, like they lost a lot on their esports stuff. Especially with like Heroes of the Storm and Overwatch League, like they lost so much money because they tried to kind of force it. And then there was another one that was really big that they lost a lot of money on their esports stuff. So like I could see them being a bit more careful with that, but just like if they do support online and they kind of like allow more like online tournaments and stuff, that would be really cool to see that kind of like compatibility with stuff. And then you have your Tatsunoko with a fight stick that's native to it, that has Kashan on it. Yeah, so, like that's obviously like the most outlandish, but it would be pretty cool to see that kind of thing. And themes, that would be fun to have, like 3DS.
Just have themes. Hopefully it'll be like optimal enough to not slow down the user experience.
Yeah, because like I turned on my 3DS and the Link Between Worlds and Majora's Mask 3D themes are so cool.
Oh, I've had the I always just had one of the Ashley themes from WarioWare.
Yeah,
I had it and I kept it on there forever.
Yeah, they're so creative and they're so much fun. Like it would be cool to see. Like I'm kind of surprised they didn't do it with the Switch, but I can imagine like they had a lot of stuff they're dealing with.
But they could barely get the controllers to not break.
Yeah, so it'd be really cool to see Switch 2 because it's been like 6-7 years, so I'm sure like
they figured something out to make it work.
Yeah, like Nintendo's R&D team really is like, I don't know, like I don't know what the reputation is with the general audience, but they seem to always be pretty on point when it comes to like things, because Nintendo really has a habit of like doing things we never expected, and then we just like, how did we not think of this before or get something like this before? So it'd be pretty cool to see what they come up with.
Oh, absolutely. Just knowing what the console is, what it does. It would definitely just get me really excited just to know what is it? What is it?
Yeah.
I do speculate after playing Another Code that a possible fix for their Joy-Con problem is that they actually use sort of touchscreen controllers, kind of like how people do on mobile. But you still get the haptic feedback or simulated haptic feedback if they still have HD rumble, so that when you get to like the edge of where there would be a gate on like a control stick, you would still feel it, but through an HD rumble as opposed to it physically there.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be my crazy solution for Joy-Con drift by not putting a control stick at all. Because that is because that's what the main character girl in Another Code, the first one, that's what she gets from her dad at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, is
that, and it has like the touchscreen, and I'm all like, wait, what if it's a real thing? But anyway, not really here to speculate too much on the hardware, and I've already kind of given my ultimate dream money sucking up game.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else to add, Blue?
No, I think that's kind of covers it. Other than just like some really fun like arcade games, because that's kind of what the 3DS when people thought it was going to be a failure for its first year or 6 months. It really was like an arcade machine. There was a lot of really fun eShop arcade games, smaller games that like really came out, like Meat and Muds. Oh my gosh, what was it? It was this little police girl. I forgot the name of it, but it was a platformer by Way Forward.
Was it Switch Force?
Yeah, that's it. Mighty Switch Force.
Yeah, Mighty Switch Force.
Yeah, they had and like even the main like full titles that were out were all arcade games, like Star Fox 64 3D, a puzzle game, Dead or Alive, Dimensions, Street Fighter 4. Like it was just such an arcade machine, and like you could just keep popping, like plug and play kind of thing. Open it up, play a few rounds, close it. Like it'd be cool to have for the Switch 2 just for its launch. A couple like really fun arcade games that you could pop in at, like maybe another like a Puyo Puyo Tetris to have at launch or something.
Yeah, something to keep your thumbs busy a little bit more casually, real quick.
Yeah.
Kind of owning the handheld identity. That is something that's missing from, kind of the modern Switch library, is like smaller games.
They were,
because we used to design for handheld games just to be shorter experiences.
Yeah, like there's a few on there, like the Layton, the Picrosses, the some of the visual novels that are on there. But yeah, there's nothing like really like, and a lot of the ones that are on there are ports, like Monster Hunter Generations was put on there.
But I'm pretty sure, if it gets still a whole bunch of indie support as much as the Switch does, I think at least indie developers would get our backs on that one.
Yeah, for sure. And I do hope for a better eShop as well. Like,
oh my gosh, don't even get me started.
The generation, like the PS4 shop, PS5 shop, just for some reason eShops just
it's bad.
There's some lag and
it's just bad.
Like the Wii, the original PS3 shop, and the original Xbox Live Marketplaces back when they all first launched were so good, so quick, so seamless, and then like I don't know what happened after that. Like by the end of the 360 lifespan, it was one of the worst UIs like ever. And the same with the PlayStation shop. Like why? And then then the eShop for the Switch. It's so laggy. I don't get it. It's
why? You scroll.
So yeah, I would love to see an improvement on that. Like one of my senior, not quite senior project, but one of my final classes in college, I redesigned the 3DS eShop for the project because that's when I really started like getting annoyed with that kind of thing. Like I don't know why. It's just I'm like, this should not be this difficult. Like I'm just trying to pop on, grab something, and go. Like it's weird.
Yeah, I'm literally here just to give you money, and yet you're making a painful process.
Yeah, it's such a strange thing, especially when they tried to do like the Mario celebration. It took even longer because they had a 3D model of Mario jumping around on your screen while you're trying to buy a game. So you're just like trying to scroll through, you see, woohoo, yeah, woo, yippee.
Mario, leave me alone. I want to play Zelda.
Yahoo! Thank you so much for buying my game. Yeah,
plays Pac-Man 99.
Yeah, I'd like to see a better UI.
Without a doubt, man. I think that's just like universally. I want controllers that work. Also, I want the eShop to not be so laggy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think this is a pretty good place to cap this hot topic. Blue, if people want more Blue Infinity 22 in their lives, where can they find you?
Streaming on Twitch and YouTube, Blue Infinity 22.
Yeah, and if you enjoy me, Action Smacchan, you could absolutely action smack that subscribe button on Pixel Smacchan for more gaming content like this. But if you want to hear more Action Smacchan talk about other Action Smacchan things, go ahead and subscribe to youtube.com/@ActionSmackChan. Mostly I talk about Tokusatsu on there, but I still have some old game content there as well. But you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram @ActionSmackChan on both. And anyway, thank you all so much for being here, and we will see you in the next Smacchan Packed adventure.